So I'm going to talk about each of the major cognitive functions. And first I'm going to start with thinking about attention and concentration. So like many of our cognitive functions, attention or concentration is not just one thing. In fact, there are different forms of attention. And in fact, our brains rely on different processes and different parts of the brain even to support different types of attention. So let's start with thinking about focusing attention. So when we talk about focusing attention, we're talking about attending to one thing and ignoring other things. So for example, in the supermarket, if you are looking for your favourite brand of toothpaste, you are looking at the supermarket shelves and there are many brands of toothpaste. But what you're able to do is to focus in and select out the one that you're interested in, to attend to that and find it from that background. Or if you're looking at a map and you're trying to find a particular town that you're going to, you can pick out that particular place from all of the complicated background. Or imagine you're in a pub and it's noisy and you are talking to a friend. You are having to attend to what your friend is saying and ignore all the other conversations that are going on around you. So one of the things our brain can do is to focus attention and to focus on a sort of single visual point or a single auditory point or a sensation. So focusing attention is one of the most important brain functions to allow us to attend to the world. And as I said with the pub example, what's critical is our ability to ignore distractions. So we have to be able to keep our attention on a single stream of information, so something we're looking at, something we're listening to, or feeling, or both. So focusing attention and then ignoring distractions. And then we have to be able to sustain our attention. So sticking with the example of in the pub, maybe you're talking to your friend and they're telling you a story that's perhaps not so interesting or something you've even heard before. And actually it may feel hard to sustain your attention, to keep your attention or to concentrate. Or perhaps you're having to read something for work that it's not the most interesting thing that you've read, but you know it's important. But actually, it's quite hard work to keep your attention on that thing. So sustaining attention over a period of time when something isn't really grabbing your attention relies on a different part of the brain and another brain system. And then finally, in terms of attention, one of the key things that we do is sometimes have to divide our attention or to move our attention quickly and flexibly from thing to thing. So in terms of dividing attention, we could talk about dividing between, for example, a cognitive process and a physical process. So the example of that would be, imagine you are in a supermarket or a shopping centre and you're with a friend and you are having to have a conversation, but at the same time navigate your way through the centre and to walk without bumping into things. So actually what you're doing is you're in part dividing your attention between the conversation, thinking what you're going to say, listening to what your friend is saying, at the same time as attending to the environment, in the people around you, anticipating what people are going to do, and perhaps even the physical process of walking. So dividing your attention between two things is critical. And similarly, also we have to move our attention quickly from thing to thing. So imagine you're preparing a meal. Maybe the children are in the kitchen with you. Maybe they're doing some homework. Or you're cooking and listening to the television or the radio is on. So some of the time you may be trying to do both. So you're monitoring the saucepan on the cooker. You've got something under the grill. So you're having to manage your attention in terms of what you're concentrating on. Is it the cooking? Is it the children? Is it the television? And sometimes you're trying to do both. Sometimes you're trying to move from one thing to another. So as I said, when we think about attention, it involves multiple brain systems and multiple different types of attention. And of course, that means that after a brain injury, one or all of these might be affected. And it may be only one and not another. So you may find it difficult to find things in cluttered environments. So again, going back to the kitchen, finding a utensil in a cluttered drawer can become more difficult. Or, as we said, in a busy and a noisy environment, if there's a group of people, but you're trying to attend to one person, that may be much more difficult. It may be harder to ignore distractions, so you may find yourself very easily distracted. So you're trying to do something, again, read or work on a computer, or do tasks that you want to keep your attention on, but there are other things going on around you, and those things are pulling your attention away and making it hard to concentrate. And that may make it particularly hard to concentrate over a period of time. So maybe you can read, but you can only read for a very short time, because you just find yourself unable to keep the concentration going for a long period of time, particularly when nothing interesting is happening. And that can be quite surprising, because there are times when it feels like it's perfectly easy to concentrate, but usually that's where something interesting or exciting or stimulating is happening, and there you can keep your concentration for a while because it's holding your attention. But the challenge is when something is not quite so interesting, or it's quieter, or you have to try and keep your focus for a long period of time. That becomes more difficult. And with dividing attention, so for some people, doing things like walking and talking is actually more difficult. That tends to be for people that have some difficulty with mobility or with walking, where actually walking becomes that it requires more attention. And so in that situation, you're having to give some attention to the walking, but you're also trying to perhaps have a conversation, and holding or dividing your attention between these two things is more challenging. And similarly, moving attention in that kitchen environment between the television and the cooking can be more difficult. And the problem may be that you get a bit stuck on one thing. So if you're distracted by the television, of course, and then forget to move back to the cooker or the toast under the grill, and of course that can have important consequences. So attention is one of the all of our cognitive functions are important, but attention is the starting point for us to be able to process information, to think about things, and of course, in order to be able to learn and remember, well, first off, we have to be able to attend and to concentrate.